Hey guys, what's going on? So I wanted to address this question that came through. I've covered this topic a couple of times, so definitely check back and look at some of the other videos. But just to kind of add a little bit more clarity to this, let's address it again. First and foremost, you are on call with this position. If you've never been on call before, you've never had an on-call job, it's an adjustment for sure. Like you're gonna have an adjustment period, not only for you, but for your family, especially if they're used to you being accessible at home. It's going to be really, really different for a little while. Now, some people, it's no issue whatsoever. Family's super understanding and everything works. It gets difficult when your family isn't so understanding. You know the value of heading to work every day, the paycheck that it brings, that kind of thing, but your family really wants you home. That's kind of the hurdle that you have to overcome. And it's one of the things that I kind of push when I'm helping people get through their training is like, you know, I can give you 100% of the information. I can walk you through, you know, getting through your training and making sure you stay safe and getting through your OJT and understanding the system and how things work. But at the end of the day, the one thing I can't control and the railroad can't control is how you and your family react to this particular lifestyle, to that particular schedule. So just something to keep in mind. Now, it is an on-call position, but it's not like you don't ever get days off. Obviously, there are holidays and that kind of thing. If you happen to be off, you get paid for it, that kind of thing. You get paid. There's benefits for working holidays. And that being said, you have the ability to call off. So let's say, you know, you've worked the last 4 days and you just need 24 hours to yourself. Call dispatch, call off, mark off sick. You know, and then as soon as you're done and you feel rested and you're ready to go back, call back to dispatch and mark back up. Now, as long as you don't abuse it, there's really no issue here. I mean, that's kind of how that works. That's what it's there for. However, I will say, and this is something that's been coming up and we addressed this in the video recently, is that if you are super dependent upon the guaranteed minimum, which most people, I mean, I'm going to venture out and say 70% of the people will, unless there's some weird slowdown going on at their terminal, them getting an actual minimum it's not going to happen. I mean, they make enough in 4 days to make more than what their minimum was going to be for the 52K for the minimum. Now, if you work at a terminal that's really slow, you only service a few industries, you are, you know, there's only a few trains that head in and out of town, that kind of thing. There's not a ton of work. There's not a ton of yard work, that kind of things. And every terminal is different. That's when you are super dependent upon that minimum. If that comes about, calling off will fuck that up. So if you are working through that, and let's say you're going through your 2-week period and you've got three days left on this period, this pay period, and you call off, your minimum gone. Like there's nothing you can do about it. You're only going to get paid for the days you work. So that's something you want to keep in mind. If you are dependent upon the minimum and you haven't worked enough to clear the minimum, if you mark off, you are not going to get your minimum. So that's something to definitely keep in mind and something you should keep an eye on. Outside of that, yeah, you absolutely, like just like every other job in regards to this question, you get vacation. You know, as long as you hit your mandatory starts for the year, and I did a whole video on that, hit your mandatory starts for the year, stay marked up until you hit that point, then you get to bid on your weeks off for the following year. You know, that it's like an open enrollment period, like I mentioned in that last video. You know, it kind of works like open enrollment. You get your mandatory level of starts during one point in the year. They'll open up bids on vacation weeks. You'll put your bid in on those vacation weeks, and you'll either get them or you won't based on your seniority. The longer you're with the company, the more likely you are to get the weeks that you actually wanted instead of just getting the 2 weeks that were left after people do it. Now, some people have come in and applied for the weeks they wanted on week one or on year one and gotten the weeks they wanted. It just happened to work out that way because nobody else at their terminal needed that time off. Especially if you're snowbirds and things like that, and you want to leave in like January and that kind of stuff. Not a ton of people are taking off during that time. You know, middle of the summer is going to be super, super busy, and people are going to want to go on vacation with their kids, especially if they have kids. That's when you're going to have a harder time getting a week off in like June or July. So again, something to keep in mind. But yes, you are on call 24/7, that kind of thing, but it's not like you're held down according to it. I mean, you can mark off whenever you want. You know, just make sure that you're hitting your mandatory minimums as far as how many days you have to work in 30, and the union won't fuck with you. But outside of that, I mean, it's really your schedule to work with. I mean, most people really do well with this kind of schedule because once you're in it for long enough, you can kind of predict, this is when I'm going to get called to work. This is when I'm going to have off. This is when I'm going to hit my 6 starts, so I'll have the next 2 days off, etc. It's just a matter of getting yourself in it, getting comfortable, and then working it out with your family. That's the only thing they don't train you on. And I've mentioned this before. You know, I can do my job 100% of the time, get you through the training, get you through all the things that you need to do. The one thing I can't fix for you is how you and your family react to the schedule. So outside of that, it's just like any other job when it comes to getting your couple of weeks off. As long as you meet the mandatory requirements, you're good to go. On-call schedules are weird, no matter whether you work at a hospital or you work on the railroad. It's really up to you. But that's kind of how things are set up. If you have any other questions, comment down below. I'll get to those as soon as I possibly can, and we'll kind of go from there. I wish you guys a good day, and we finally kicked out most of this COVID, so videos should start to get a little bit more regular. I'll see you guys soon.